Hey! So, this video is going to be, again, another controversial one, I'm sure. But that's always the more fun ones. Um, I would like to share my views on abortion. I've had a couple people email me about what my views and opinions are on the subject, so I figured that I would go into detail and rant and, rave about my opinions as I do in all my videos. So, for the longest time, I was pro life. I considered myself pro life. I am extremely 100% against abortion. Um, and, well, let me back up. I was extremely 100% against abortion. No questions asked, all circumstances. Over the years, I realized that the term pro life is a political term. It's not, a personal view. It's not, it's just political. Same with pro choice. People that are pro choice aren't necessarily for abortion, they're just against the government regulating the fact, And over the years, I've come to decide and realize that I am pro choice. Now, I'm going to go into explanations as to what exactly my views are as far as, if there ever a time for an abortion and all that kind of stuff. So, like I said before, I used to be extremely against abortion to the point where, rape cases, incest, if the mother was to die, any babies, any pregnant woman should never have an abortion, ever. Ever. Now, I'm still very adamant about the fact that I'm kind of on the pro life side that the baby is a human life at conception. I know that that's a very big pro life argument as opposed to many pro choice arguments that it's not until it has a human heartbeat. It all depends on what you define a human life to be. I mean, a zygote is definitely alive, it's a living thing, but not necessarily a fetus or human yet. So, like I said, it's semantics. But I consider as soon as, the baby is conceived, that is life. To take any life is wrong. I mean, hence my view on capital punishment. It's the same exact view for this. And, but at the same time, I can understand that there are very, very, very rare cases that I would say, okay, about abortion, as far as, incest, rape, that kind of stuff. But I also have to say that it definitely depends on the situation because people that, I mean, for example, a very good friend of mine when I was growing up was his mom was raped. He never knew his dad, and she had him when she was 11, and loved him, saw him as the blessing of the curse, or like the blessing of the bad. It was something good that came out of something that was so horrible or tragic for her. But there are a lot of people that would be mentally unstable to the point where, they would blame the child, if they were a rape victim and decided to have the child. But that's why we have adoption. But I also understand that there are probably some mothers that wouldn't want to go through the pregnancy, have the violation inside of them for 9 months, So I can understand that. There are certain cases where if, it would be more detrimental to both the baby and the mother if they were not to have an abortion. Incest, I'm more for abortion than any other case. As far as it being a form of birth control, I think that that is the worst thing that anybody could possibly do. If you are of sound mind and body to have sex, you should be of sound mind and body to go with the consequences. You know, if you get pregnant when you're 13 because you're not using contraceptives, then you get pregnant when you're 13. You know, I think that a lot of people see abortion as an easy way out, and it's not. First of all, it's very invasive. Second of all, there are a lot of people that go through post traumatic stress syndrome because of it. There are a lot of suicides because of abortions. And that's a side that people normally don't hear about. That's a side that, you know, I mean, yes, everybody knows that abortion is wrong, you know, to an extent, but not many people know just how traumatic that experience can be. Not even me. I've obviously never had an abortion, so I don't know what you could go through. I can only imagine. But to kind of elaborate, you know, as far as, you know, me changing from pro life to pro choice, it has nothing to do with changing my view as far as, you know, rape victims, incest, that kind of stuff. It has to do with changing or getting to know my political views more and knowing that, like I said, pro life and pro choice are political stances. They're not personal beliefs. I am anti abortion, but I am pro choice. I believe that if the government said you can't have an abortion, it is illegal, that we would go back to the 50s where people, you know, back alley doctors are doing abortions with coat hangers. And if people are going to do it, I will have very low respect for them, if any, especially if they're using it as a form of birth control. But at least make it so that there are medically trained doctors in a sterile environment doing the procedure in the correct manner. That by making abortions illegal, all it's going to do is cause mayhem. And I mean, if anybody's seen If These Walls Could Talk, they would understand. I mean, it was horrible when abortions were so frowned upon, and you know, they really seriously used coat hangers to do abortions. And that's what's going to happen if we make abortion illegal. And so, yes, it should stay legal. It's not right. I'm still extremely anti-abortion, but I don't want it to be illegalized. Now, to surprise some of you guys, I'm going to kind of go on a little segue here, and say I am very much for stem cell research. I've done a lot of research about it, but I've also found out that, say you're a couple and you go for in vitro. You know, you have these eggs, and you know, they'll keep them frozen for any couple that gets in vitro, for up to 2 years. After that, if the couple doesn't come back and says, okay, I want another child, or I want to try it again, or whatever, they throw it away. That would have never been a human life to begin with. So, why can't we use it to find cures for other diseases? Why can't we use it for stem cell research? That makes no sense to me. If it's never going to be given a chance to live, why can't we use it to research to better our society, to better our medical knowledge? Why? That's one thing that I want to know, you know, what you guys' views are about stem cell research and everything like that. Because like I said, I mean, it may be a little hard to believe considering the fact that I'm so about life and everything like that. But if it's not going to be life at all, if it's going to be thrown away, why can't we use it for something that would be useful for the future generations? So, I know this one was kind of a little bit more rambling than most of my other videos, but I wanted to get it out there and let you guys know what I thought about that. I'm sure some of you probably aren't surprised, being that I'm very liberal, that I am pro-choice. But like I said, it has more to do with the fact that if we illegalize it, it would be complete mayhem. There would be so many negative aspects that come along with that decision. So, yeah. So that's pretty much my view. And as always, counter arguments. And I'm very, very, very grateful that people have started doing video comments back because, as I've mentioned in other videos, I definitely want to hear you guys' opinions on everything that I say. So I'm hoping to hear back from you. And I'm going to try to do some more videos tonight, but if I don't, I will be posting more in the next couple days. So I'm waiting to hear from you.